If you have the ideal customer profile, but the struggle to identify new prospects that matches, or if you're facing the operational bottleneck of determining exactly which products or services should be bundled or recommended together, or more complex level, just facing the strategic issues of establishing the typical behavior patterns to improve threat detection and risk management. This video will bring the answer closer to you. This is the second part of my series entitled From Business Problems to Data Mining Tasks. All three problems are going to be deconstructed in these, mapping directly to the next three data mining tasks. The fourth part is going to be where we dive into similarity matching, and then we will break down the co-occurrence grouping with another name, association rule mining. And in the third part of the video, we'll walk through profiling, and its more business-friendly title, behavior description. This is a content that I would like to give anyone looking to translate business challenges into data mining tasks, recognizing analytic to drive business development. Have you ever found a perform that felt completely you, the exact stand, the mood it put you in, and the memory it carried? A years later, you walk into the stores again, and you want the same feeling, but you can't remember the name. So, what do you do? To describe what made the first one perfect, the noise, the intensity, the occasion, and you search for the closest match. That instinct, that is similarity matching. And that travel far beyond the fragrance counter. Every time a business needs to find what fits the right customer, the right candidate, the right next move, the same logic applies. Start with what you know works, and then find what's closest to it. Nowhere it is more urgent than in sales. When the close sale ratio, the percentage of qualified leads actually converts to revenues, is falling short of industry benchmarks. And for the next quarter, leadership want a 5 to 10% improvement in close rate without increasing sales budgets. The gap between where we are and where we want to be is so real and urgent. This is a problem that lies in almost every sales funnel, and this isn't something we can continue to ignore. The direct lever we can boost is the quality of our sale qualified leads. So the question became, how do we find the leads that look and behave like the customer we already closed? That's where similarity matching steps in. Similarity matching is the process of identifying the more similar items in our data beyond shared features. It uses a scoring system to measure how close different entities are to one another, helping us find the best match for a given task, whether that is prioritizing a sale lead or recommending a product. You may have heard the saying, you are the average of 5 people closest to you. Notice it's a average, not mode, and 5, not 50. That's not accidental. A small representative group gives us the signal that's specific enough to be meaningful and broad enough to be stable. Choose few, once outliers can scale everything. Choose many, we're just describing the general population. Similarity matching works the same way. We look for a small number of reference points that are generally close to our query, and we let their proximity tell us something useful. So right now, we're curious about what necessary inputs for similarity matching procedure. That are 3 things have to be in play. Shared feature. Every entity in our data set, every lead, every customer, every product is represented with list of attributes. For the B2B sales lead, this might include company size, industry, annual revenues, geography, and prior engagement score. Choose critical considerations are relevant and volume. Every features we include influence the scoring. Domain expertise matter here. We likely have intuition about a signal that predicts conversion. And more features is always better. Irrelevant features add noise and dilute the one that matter. The reference point. This is our ideal entity, the anchor that everything else is measured against. In our sales example, the reference points are the customer we already successfully closed. The profiles define what good look like. The scoring system that had 3 components. Distance metric measure how far used entities are, commonly elucidated distance. The combination method, in real life, we have more than just one ideal entity, like more than one ideal customer. So we need to define the combination methods of dedicating a word to share average or majority. Weighting gives more influence to closer, more relevant neighbors, as having their own impacts based on the size of dedicating or the frequency of dedicating, so that we might consider the extra factors. With the right inputs in play, the system had everything it needs. Now comes the work of turning them into a ranked result. Step 1. Feature preparation. This is where every entity is represented in a structure. Fix a list of attributes by feature vectorization. Step 2. Calculate distance and find neighbors. Apply the distance metric to find the k nearest neighbor. These are the k's more similar entities to our query. The value of k's in a tuning choice. Small k could be sensitive to a local parent and higher variant. Conversely, large k could be smoother, more stable, but potentially less specific. Not all neighbors should count equally. In a well-built system, the closer a neighbor is, the more it influences the final score. The lead that score 0.95 similarity should carry more weight than one at 0.72. And final, rank and prioritize. When the output is the ranked least, and the sales team no longer have to decide who to connect beyond gut feeling, they have the data back priorities order. The top-ranked leads are the one that look most like the customer we already closed. Similarity matching is not just a standalone tool. It's the underlying engine behind three broader data mining tasks. Classification assigns a news entity to a category based on what its neighbor belongs to. Regression predicts a numeric value based on nearby entities' known outcomes. Clustering grouping entities by natural similarity without a predefined label. By building similarity matchings gives a foundation for all three. It works even when the problem is fuzzy. Many analytical methods require us to already know what we're optimizing for. Similarity matchings is different. We can deploy it while our question is still being defined, because we don't need a label or outcome variable. We just need examples of what good look like. This makes it especially useful early in problem solving before we have enough data for a full predictive model. If you're someone who loves frequent, you know it's never just the buffoon. You find the one, the outer buffoon that felt completely you. And almost immediately, the questions follows. Did this content a body scrub, a shower gel, a lotion, a has mist? Because the feeling isn't just about the scent on the wrist, it's about being wrapped in it, head to toe, all day long. Here's the thing, producer and retailer already know that. They studied it, they mapped it, and build entire product strategies around it. They know that when someone bought that perfume, the scrub and lotion doesn't fall behind. This knowledge, the part of what gets brought together, is co-occurrence grouping that work. This isn't just a retail insight. Anywhere the choice has been agreed, co-occurrence has something to say. And one of the most visible arena is the supermarket floor. Every month, the supermarket refreshes its layout, new arrangement, new flow, designed to make the shopping experience feel intuitive and easier. And for that, manager noticed something uncomfortable. Certain customers were buying the same groups of products together every visit. A predictable bundle, items that clearly belong in the same tree, and that except those items sat in a completely different section of the store. To collect them all, customers were walking the full length of the floor, doubling back, searching. The experience were inconvenient. The cross-sell opportunity was being missed entirely. The fix wasn't complicated in concept. Find the products that frequently leave the store together and put them closer to each other. But to do that well, we need to know which combination actually matter. That's where data comes in. Before we go further, it's worth noting that this challenge isn't isolated to a single supermarket. In digital marketplaces like Etsy, Gumroad, Payhip, the same logic drive product bundles and packeteers, collections of items grouped together, because they're better and more convenient at a set. And in operation, managers have noticed something similar. Certain sequence of actions repeat with high frequency across their teams. Identifying those patterns is the first step to decide what should be automated, removing manual effort from work that follow a predictable script. The pattern is the same whether we're arranging shelves, building product bundles, or designing workflows. Some things natural travel together, and the question is, can we find them? Co-occurrence grouping goes by several names: association rules mining, association rules discovery, frequency item mining, market bucket analysis. The techniques is the same under all of them. This is the process of identifying statistical association between entities based on their appearance together within a corpus or bucket. The validity of this cover rule is evaluated by how frequent the pattern occurs, the conditional probability that one item appears given another, and how much more often the association rule occur than random chains alone would predict. To see how this works in practice, we need to break this definition down into three outstanding components, and everything starts with a container we call the bucket. A bucket is any collections of items or events that belong together in the shared context, a single transaction, section, or a moment in time. Traditionally, a bucket is a customer purchase that everything worked in one trip, but the concept travel in e-commerce. This could be a customer order for web browsing. It might be a full purchase user visit in the single section. In terms of social media, it could be a full collection of Facebook users' likes, model a bucket of interest. And when it comes to operation, it could be a sequence of actions employees perform in a single workflow, a bucket of steps. The bucket is the unit of observation, and everything else built on top of it. Once we define our bias, we can start looking inside it. That brings us to our second core component. Co-occurrence is the event of two or more items appearing in the same package. Associations is the statistical relationship we derive from observing co-occurrence repeatedly across many packages. A rule is the pattern we extract from those associations. It takes the form: if A occurs, then B is likely to occur. Not all rules are equally useful. There are three kinds. Actionable rules, the patterns that are meaningful, non-obvious, and suggest a clear next step. Trivial rules, statistically valid, but already known to everyone in the business. They confirm what everyone assumes. Useful as a sanity check, but not a discovery. Inexplicable rules, patterns with no clear explanation or no obvious action to take. These might be anomalous, seasonal flux, or data artifacts. The goal is always to surface the actionable rules and filter out the rest. When rules are discovered, we need ways to evaluate which ones are worth acting on. For metrics do this work. Support tells us this is pattern common enough to matter. Confident tells when A happens, how often the B's follow. Leaves indicates is this association surprising or would it happen anyway. Leveraged provides information on how much more often they appear together if they were unrelated. When we talk about the buffoons, we were inside the moment, one person, one stand, one feeling. But zoomed out to a retailer or the brand, the same purchase agents urge personal choice, city, data point. And when they look at thousands of those data points, the other buffoons, the lotion, the body scrub, the half mist, a pattern emerges. A type of person start to take a shape, a set of behavior that's gathered together in a recognizable way. This is how brand build personas. And the techniques behind this is profiling. That is stopped in customer relationship in a company. The same logics apply to employees. A support agent, a warehouse operator, act role, has its own behavioral fingerprint. A typical range of actions, decisions, and outputs that define what normal look like for that position. And when we define the norm, we can spot when something is off. That is where profiling became not just descriptive, but protective. A credit card companies process millions of transactions a day and run a large customer center, handling thousands of cards every hour for a long time. Organizations measure their performance in the same way everyone else did. Total spending, average wait time, overall satisfaction score at a great number, clean, simple, reportable. But something started going wrong. Fraud was slipping through, not dramatically, just quietly, consistently. Transactions looked almost normal, were turning out not to be. And in the call center, the aggregate satisfaction score stayed flattened, where certain customer segments grew silently frustrated. The experience masks by the average. The problem wasn't the lack of data, it is with the lack of definition. No one ever had to define what normal looked like, and without a clear picture of normal, there were no reliable way to recognize when something has gone wrong, and the goal became clear. Establish a behavioral baseline, define what typical look like precisely, multidimensionally, so that anything that deviates from it can be caught and acted on immediately. This challenge isn't unique to finance. Air technologies evolved faster than ever. The line between normal and abnormal behavior in system, in customer, in operations is one of the most important lines any business need to be able to draw. Profiling is also behavioral description, a data mining task that categorize a typical behavior of an individual, groups, population to establish normative baseline. This synthesize complex attributes such as demographic data or transaction pattern to define behavioral norm used to detect anomalies such as fraud or system intrusion. To build a profile, we need two types of information working together. Behavior dimension. Think about two people both describe taking a shower. One spent 5 minutes in, right, done, and another spent an hour. Music on, food routine, every product in sequence. Same label, completely different behavior. That word behavior dimension capture the architecture of how someone acts. Detail uses pattern, transaction sequence, timing, frequency, volume, not the category that the fingerprint. But behavior doesn't exist in isolation. The same person behave differently depending on their context, which brings us to the second dimension. You are still you, but your decisions shape with your circumstance. Your shopping at 2 a.m. look different from your shopping at 10 a.m. A customer's purchasing behavior in economic downturns look different from their behavior in a boom year. A stable dimension captures a slower moving context that shapes behavior, demographics, age, gender, geography, economic condition, macroeconomic factor, system characteristic. This attribute changes little in short term, but they explain a great deal about why behaviors look the way it does. Together, this choose dimension creates a profile that is richer, more accurate, more useful than a single upgrade could ever be. Here's the problem with a single average. It assumes everyone in our population behave brutally the same way, one number to represent all of them. But real customer base hasn't like that. They made up of distinct subgroups, X with their own reams, their own normal, their own bell curve. A basic profile fit a normal covariant distribution to the data. The familiar bell curve, two parameters divided, the mean, the center of the curve, and the standard deviation, the spread. A narrow curve means most customers behave very similarly. A wide curve means the significant diversity in how they interact with us. The goal is to find the model that more accurately describes the behavior actually observed in our data, the maximum likelihood fit. Going further, but what if our population isn't one group, but if it's 5 Gaussian mixture model solved it? Instead of forcing one bell curve onto an entire population, Gaussian mixture models identify multiple individual curves like representing a distinct behavior subgroup that together capture the true diversity in our data. In business terms, our premium customer, our occasional browser, our box buyer, and our Netflix journal all have different normal Gaussian mixture model. 5 active them. They rely from some used as the word. This is at the heart of profiling. If you know your enemy and know yourself in the humblest battles, you will never be defeated. Profiling is the practice of knowing our occurrence, our customer, our transaction, our operation well enough to recognize when something doesn't belong. But knowing the norm is only half the work. The other half in knowing our own position, our goals, our constraint, our strategies, policies. Together, that's knowledge not just tells us what is happening, but which battles are worth fighting and where to focus our response. That's what a profile makes possible. I don't claim to have the absolute answer, nor can I perfectly step into your unique shoes. What I share come entirely from my own trials, personal safety, and regardless self-critics. My only hope is that by sharing my framework, I can bring the answer just a little bit closer to your reach. I'm genuinely grateful for the time today exploring this concept with someone who truly engaged with the ideas, make the entire process incredibly rewarding. We now walk through 6 core data mining tasks, the building block of how data mining thinks. In the next video, we'll bring 3 last data mining tasks together to complete the picture. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!